Well, hello and welcome to this stream. Happy New Year and all that. I hope that everyone enjoyed the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And yeah, I really hope 2023 is going to be a lot more positive year all round for everybody. Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? Be really good. Anyway, well, we're back here again, and with this model, and I have serious problems loading this and its textures into Second Life for some unknown reason. I don't know why, but the texture for the walls just doesn't seem to want to, even though the texture is perfectly okay, it just will not load correctly in Second Life for some reason. And for the life, everything else works absolutely fine. All the other textures are baking, you know, they've all, well, even the wall textures baked correctly. I spent quite a bit of time off stream trying to get this to work and to try and figure out what on earth was going wrong, and I still can't figure out what is going wrong with this. The normals are around the right way. I mean, I just checked everything and double checked and triple checked. I just can't, I don't know why, but it just will not load correctly in Second Life. So I got to a point a few days ago, well, actually just after the last stream, I think the following day, I spent a few hours trying to resolve this problem, and I couldn't figure out what on earth was going on. So what I tend to do in that kind of situation is I just leave it. And I just think, you know, I'll just do it another day. You know, I'll do it another day, and just kind of forget about it. And you know, all the textures on the inside, you know, I mean, I added that area lamp, you know, this area lamp here, you know, again, that worked. It all worked. The textures came out absolutely brilliant, but for some unknown reason, this wall texture here, the external wall, will just not load. It just will not load in, even though the texture is loading perfectly okay, and I can upload it and I can see it. As soon as I put the texture onto the outside face of this building here, it just will not show for some reason. The inside texture works fine, everything else works perfectly fine apart from that one. So I don't know what the problem was. I even went back and redid the texture again, rebaked the textures, and reapplied the textures, you know, all over again from scratch, and it still caused a problem. So I don't know, unless somebody, and oh, there's one other thing, and now it's really weird anomaly. This here also, the texture will not apply correctly. I redid the UV, I redid the texture again, exported it, you know, baked it, re-uploaded it, and again, this is the other item, this particular bit of mesh here, which has got two materials on it. Again, the texture will not apply properly in Second Life. It just comes out a complete mush. So yeah, I don't know. I've not known that kind of problem before. Normally it's correctable. You know, you just go through, even if you do have to start from scratch again. But yeah, so anyway, in between, to basically, you know, you kind of get to a point, actually, sometimes you just think, oh my god, I'm going crazy, you know, what on earth is going wrong? I've screwed up somewhere, I've done something really wrong, you know, I will start, you know, and there is a tendency, I think, to kind of not give up, but just think, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore, you know. But anyway, I'm not like that. It kind of enters my mind for maybe a minute or two, and then I just think, no, I'm going to go and do something else. So I just went and I just, you know, the next couple of days, including yesterday, I created some more things. What else did I do? Actually, it should probably be still on here. So yeah, I was playing around with this, trying to lower the land impact on here, and these are sort of iron stairs that I designed. Now, obviously, you bring something like this into Second Life, it's difficult to try and, you know, lower the land impact, because there's an awful lot of, you know, there's a huge amount of faces and such like in this. Why am I in edit mode? Come out of edit mode. There we go. Right, so this is, you know, I look quite a lot of faces. It's you know, 6,668 triangles. So it's pretty heavy. It's very nice stairs, and in order for me to actually, you know, walk up this, I've tried all sorts of things. The lowest I can get it down to is 8 land impact, which is not, you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I do like these stairs, actually. So I was like playing around with this for a little while, just thinking that I could try and so this is obviously done with an array modifier, you know, and that's, I think this is the this is what I designed, was that, and then applied an array modifier and you know, an empty here, and then obviously this is the empty here, and then you rotate it around and such like, and it produces this really nice effect with the spiral. So what else was I playing with? Oh yeah, I followed a tutorial. Now this was interesting. Okay, I've seen how to do this before, how to create, you know, geometry for simplistic trees, and I was following Grant Abbott. I just love watching his videos. I mean, if anyone is not subscribed to Grant Abbott, if you're into 3D, Blender, or anything along those lines, I mean, he does an awful lot of modeling and mesh modeling, as in, you know, sculpting, and he produced a kind of a Christmas scene, you know, low poly Christmas scene, and I just love watching his videos, even though I just learn something from his videos. You know, as I say, I try to learn something in Blender every single day. Certainly every time that I use Blender, I like to learn something. And recently I've been focusing on shortcuts to, you know, keyboard functions and menu things and things like that. And so anyway, I followed his latest tutorial on his kind of low poly Christmas scene, and it took me by surprise, actually, how easy it was to create this kind of tree effect. Loaded it into Second Life, and it looked absolutely brilliant. I really loved it. I really loved it. And you know, you have to I ran a modifier, a decimate modifier on there, obviously, to try and bring the poly count down. And I just did it a few times on here and reduced it down without making it look too bad. But very, very effective, very effective. And I also, I didn't go really any further than just creating kind of the basis for this tree. Didn't add any leaves on there, or he did sort of a low poly, full tree effect on there, which looked really quite good. So I might actually revisit this again, because I've got a couple of ideas actually for designing some trees for some other things. I don't know whether I've ever streamed my graveyard scene that I did, that I made for Neo Victoria, the Neo Victoria sim in Second Life. And I could talk about graveyards. I could talk about graveyards for a long time. I ever since I was really young, I've always been fascinated with graveyards and had an association with graveyards. So, I designing graveyards, and I've got some more ideas about designing even a better graveyard sort of scene. And this is where I thought it might be really nice to kind of use this kind of tree effect in my kind of new graveyard. So anyway, speaking of which, I then played around with gravestones. Okay, now this is rather high poly. For a gravestone, it's really high poly, but it looks good. I only made this to play around with it in Substance and to try and get a gravestone to look like a gravestone. Now, when I've done gravestones before, they've been very low poly to try and lower the land impact down, which I'll show in a minute. Something that I really, really wanted to crack. If anyone knows about designing things in Blender and uploading mesh to Second Life, they will know the constant battle you've got about land impact, because you want to load really nice models into Second Life because they look really, really good, and especially if they go with really good textures. This is how people are making money in Second Life by they're constantly designing. I mean, it's again one of my dreams was to have been able to do something along those lines. I would love to have been at the beginning of modeling in Second Life. I've always done building in Second Life ever since, right from the very early couple of months, 2 or 3 months of me ever going in, which is now nearly 16 years ago, scarily enough. So I've always enjoyed that, creating and building an artistic side to Second Life, which is always draws me back into doing it, and hence my involvement with Blender. And I remember using Blender back in the day when it was like version 1 point something and then it went up to level version 2, and I remember then, I think it was around that time that mesh was being allowed to be used in Second Life, and I got into it then, and I've been an avid Blender user ever since. But yeah, I've found out one of the things I've wanted to do was to try and crack the land impact conundrum. Okay, there's lots of videos on YouTube about land impact, and there's people have tried, like me, have tried every which way possible to lower that land impact down, but also keep the quality up. So there's always this balance. There's this balance between detail, mesh, level, land impact, and your textures. If it really is a balancing act. And when you come across something like recently, I've come across a few things in Second Life that I think, wow, that looks really, really good. And then you go and look at the land impact of it, and you'll find that this relatively small sculpture has got a land impact of 150. And then you look at another sculpture which is potentially, looks good from a distance. You go to it and it looks pretty bad. It's very poor quality. And then you realize that the land impact is only like 3 to 5 or something. And it swings and roundabouts really in Second Life a lot of the time. And it's finding that medium where you can have the quality with the low land impact, and obviously the quality textures. And it's all about that balance, so ideally for something like this gravestone, you try to have the quality, like the rounded corners and maybe a little bit of, I wouldn't even start doing anything like putting damage on the gravestone unless that was absolutely necessary, because the land impacts just goes up really, really high. Ideally you want something like this to be only a land impact of 1, 2 at a max. And it is difficult when you're trying to make something with a level of detail that makes it look realistic and will load correctly. And of course the other thing is the distance you're away from something. So the LOD level, you try to get that up as high as possible as well. And so again, you're trying to keep the LOD at a happy medium, whereby if you're more than maybe 50 meters away from it, you may not see it, but if you're 25 meters away from it, that you will actually see that that it is actually a headstone and not some crushed, weird, deformed mesh looking thing. And of course, when you go close up to it in Second Life, you want to see the detail, and that's where a lot of things fall down. People go too far the other way. They try to lower everything down so much that the level of detail is gone, and then you see that they've used a really low resolution texture. They've tried to keep the land impact as low as possible, and it is a fine balance. Speaking of which, of this constant battle, I designed, this is all stuff I've done in the last few days. I really, one morning, I can't remember now when it was, a couple of days ago I think it was, I wanted to really try and push. So when I was in Second Life the other day, there was a fence around a graveyard scene that I saw, and I thought, wow, that looks really, really good. I like the way that fence has been done. Okay, now typically people will just use a prim, straightforward prim, and put a texture on it, and from a distance it will look fine, but close up it looks absolutely awful. But this particular fence I saw actually had mesh. Like it was obviously made out of mesh, but this lattice pattern, which again, very often in Second Life, you could probably get away with this being, a texture. But when you look at it close up, you can see that it's a texture, but this particular one that I saw was actually made out of mesh. And it looked good, and I thought, wow, until I looked at the land impact. And this one section of fence, which is about the size. Now this is, how big is it? It's 4.1, nearly 4.2 meters long. 1.2 meters high. So it's pretty big, okay? And I really wanted to crack this. I kept thinking, well, you know, there's got to be a way. I have seen very detailed fencing in Second Life that was actually a really low land impact. And I tried several experiments of, you know, obviously this was made out of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this lattice, which was done with an array, and it's a, you know, it's a small bit of mesh crisscrossed. And so I did it one way and then duplicated it and used it the other way. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to really figure out what it is people are doing here to try and make this, the land impact really low on here. There's got to be a way of people doing it. So I designed it in separate parts, uploaded it to Second Life. I think it was about land impact of about 6 or 7 or something. So then I tried making the frame, you know, like joining all these pieces together and keeping the middle part separate, uploaded it, and I think it kind of within one land impact. And I thought, you know, like, how are really people doing this? So then I thought, right, I'm going to go full blown this mesh, okay? But you know what was interesting that I found out? So I joined all this together, okay? I joined all this together and I used the Boolean to get rid of, so it all basically joined together, okay? So I think the two that were the biggest differences, one was where I left the mesh as it was, got rid of the ends, you know, the caps of all the mesh, but left the mesh, if you like, all the bits inside these, if you know what I mean, you know, these kind of areas here, and it was up inside, and it's the same on here, and that's how this other fence was. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that's how they're doing it then, you know, they just don't, if you like, finish it off properly. So I did that, and I think the land impact went down to about 5 or 6, and I thought, oh, that's pretty neat. Okay, we're getting there. Then I thought, right, I'm gonna go the full hog and add a boolean to this so that all the mesh basically interacts with itself, so there aren't any. See if I can get in here. Right, so see this? I don't know whether we can go in there. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. So anyway, I did that on there, and I managed to get this down to 1 land impact with a high LOD, which I just thought, okay, now I think I'm really now scratching the surface on how people are getting really good detail, really good detail mesh. Obviously this is, you know, just black and white, but yeah, you know, so I got quite good detail on the texturing and uploaded it with, you know, ambient occlusion, lighting, etc, and it worked actually really quite well. But yeah, what was surprising was that I managed to get this down to 1 land impact. Uploaded it with the physics of a cube as well, so that obviously, you know, people can't walk through the fence, and yeah, so I was quite happy with that. So I'm going to, what I've learned with this fence is, I know it's obviously quite simple, but what the level of detail in this, like for instance, I made a model, I modeled a library, okay, and I designed shelving with just literally, you know, book textures and things on that, like that on there. And it looks good, but of course to try and get the land impact of that down was again very difficult, and that was a couple of years ago now I did that. So I'm going to try and apply what I've learned with this. I mean, it might not seem like an awful lot, but when you're loading things into Second Life and the land impact is high, it takes longer for it to load. Like just like any game engine, you know, you try to keep the LODs down as low as you can possibly go without it looking crap. But you also don't want your mesh and your textures to take up too much memory, otherwise it takes a long time to load. So that was that. And if that wasn't enough, I've got a thing about castles. Again, I always have done, even when I was young, you know, I've always loved castles. So one of the castles I am going to model at some point, and I will stream this as well, is Beaumont Castle. Okay, so all I've done is I've just literally loaded it's interesting. What is that plane? Oh no, right, okay, I only used that plane so I could square up the... So this is something that I would like to model, right? Now, the other thing that I did was I saw a tutorial by another chap who used floor plans for houses, and he did a little bit of an instruction on how to resize your plan to real life scale inside Blender. And because very often most maps and drawings and plans and such like has got this scale on there, so that is 30 meters, right? So I made a bit of mesh. I think it's this one. No, it isn't. I don't know quite where it is. I think it is that one. Yeah, there we go. So that I don't know whether you can see that. That's 30 meters long, and you basically anchor it to your drawing scale, which is here, which is 30 meters long. Okay, and you resize your plan. Very clever. I hadn't thought this before. You can resize your plan then so that your measurement, your piece of mesh here, your plane that's actually 30 meters long, your image plan is 30 meters long, which then means that you are then working in this in real-time scale, which makes life a lot easier. So I've got lots of reference images of this castle, and it looks really good. I mean, it's a very well preserved castle for this that's nearly 1,000 years old. But I like the fact that it's got a moat round the outside. It's got obviously castle wall with these little tower battlements here, and then obviously this is a really heavy duty castle. I mean, you know, these walls are really thick. They're several meters thick. If you think that that's 10 meters there, you know, that's got to be like 5 meters thick almost. Crazy. But anyway, it looks an interesting building. It's got lots of features in there. I'm not going to be able to bring this into Second Life full scale because it would be crazy, take up a whole sim. But yeah, that's another project that I have in my... I've sort of started with this, and we will, you know, I will go from there really. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I've used plans of houses before to build houses, and again it was the same chap actually. Can't remember his name now, but it was the same chap. Let's see if I can find his channel. It was the same chap that did the same, you know, with the scale thing, which I thought was really, really quite neat. And then he did, you know, house, and the way he did it was very different from the way that I've done it before. And I thought, wow, you know, that's really, really good. So I'm going to use that method that he did for using plans to, you know, build things. I can't remember the guy's name. Well, that's annoying, because his video was just really, really good, and I obviously just didn't save it. On my YouTube, I've got like a folder for Blender tutorials. Yeah, for some reason I didn't save it. Oh, there we go. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is the guy? I don't know. There are so many brilliant people on YouTube. I mean, I've...
Everybody and...
No, that's not him. No. But again, he used the similar method to actually design a house floor from a floor plan, which was just the way he did it was just really, really good and actually made sense. And I've tried doing that before and, you know, screwed up kind of big time, really. So that's another project that I will be doing if you're interested in that kind of thing. Something else. Okay, so the last thing, I just cover off this one. The last thing is this, which again is kind of along the castle theme, but this is what I'm going to be working on today. And I've uploaded my first kind of iterations of the modeling into Second Life, and this looks amazing in Second Life. It really does look amazing. So I did this yesterday, New Year's Eve, and so yeah, I kind of played around with this for a little while, and again, this is just based off of a couple of art reference images, and it doesn't look exactly the same because it has to be adapted to work in Second Life. The artwork that I'm working from, you know, I think is just literally a piece of artwork, and you could model it, but you wouldn't be able to use it. I want to make this something possibly that somebody would want to live in, you know, or to use as a, you know, as a resident house kind of thing. So it's going to have about 4 stories in Second Life. This is actually an awful lot. It looks impressive because it's very, very big. So yeah, this has been fun. So this is obviously 1 part, 2 part, and three parts to this. And please, you know, I know this is not looking good here, but I need to sort this model out. Yeah, it's because the building is actually angled, and obviously this is an odd shape, and of course it won't shade correctly. So I need to sort things like that out, but you know, it's not the end of the world. And also what's interesting is I don't really know why. I don't know quite why all of these have got white lines on them. Oh, okay, maybe because of the angle. Okay, yeah. So this is what I'm working on. where am I at? Obviously these stairs have got to go, it's going to go into a little bit of an archway. This is not a door entrance, by the way. This is the door entrance is here up the stairs, and this, although this does seem to be a doorway as well, from what I can gather on my reference image. But yeah, the main, if you like, the main entrance to this particular building will be through this here. So there'll be an archway here, and obviously a doorway. Now this middle part of the building is going to be mainly stairs, I think, and then it will break off into doors into each of the levels on this building. So I'm going to be putting holes for windows. You know, it kind of reminds me of a Middle Eastern style type building. It looks like something that's in Greece, or you know, that kind of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern kind of place. It's just a fantasy sort of thing, building, really. But that's what I envisage this being. There'll be floors in this building here where, you know, there's going to be an opening here. This will be like this here, like a large balcony type area. I mean, this is actually really, really big in comparison to a character sitting, you know, standing here. But I might have to reshape this bit. But yeah, so this is all made out of one piece of mesh. Even the pillars, everything was all done using loop tools and all of those other things. So but I must admit, it does look really good in Second Life. It does look very good. So enough talking and waffling on. I want to try and finish as much of this as I possibly can from an external point of view. And then at some point I will work on the internals. You know, see, it's just hollow, but I'll have to think about how people are going to get up and down in this building. But it's classed as a castle. I guess it is a castle. It's not what we would typically call a castle here in the UK, but maybe in the Mediterranean, you know, this is classed as a castle. And it is really only kind of fantasy art type thing. So but anyway, let's so I've got some nice kind of breaks here, and then there's actually in here kind of an arch with a couple of pillars, something similar to this, and I think that the middle of this part of the building will be open. It's kind of like a veranda, so you'll be able to actually, looking at it from this angle, you'll be able to actually see all the way through, and it's kind of a walkway. You know, you'll have stairs going up, or possibly, you know, an entrance and then stairs on one of these buildings maybe, and it will go up and across. You'll be able to get from one side of the building to the other through here, something along those lines. And then there'll be something on this side. So yeah, I think it's an interesting kind of building. There's not actually any glass in this building because it's obviously, you know, in theory, from a hot country, very often hot countries don't tend to have glass windows. because you know they just have curtains with drapes and such like that hang down that allow the air to flow through the building. And looking at my reference image, that's what it actually looks like, and this is how it's been designed. So yeah, let's get on and do some modeling. So what I'm going to do is my method now. Isn't it interesting how things have changed in Blender? That wasn't really very good, was it? How things have changed in Blender. Okay, so I'm going to do something that I did with this particular kind of shape that I cut out of this building, and you know, it was actually really quite interesting. It was actually quite interesting doing it because it was just so easy to do, whereas before, you know, to create this kind of archway was just so difficult. So I did this really simply by just doing this. I could probably get away with, let's do 13. Right, okay. So literally all I did was pick that. Okay. Switch on proportional editing and use this kind of sphere shape. Because all I'm going to do is use a boolean to, you know, cut it out of here. So we just grab Z, and I'm just going to do this. Boom, done. I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah. How easy is that now to create a an archway? So I want this to kind of go in there. Square this up a bit. So GX, let's put it about there. GY, Z. So kind of wanted to actually, let's do it like that. Actually go up quite high. Okay, that looks good. Now I don't have a picture from the back, but I don't think there would be a door around the back somehow. You know, in this theoretical world, I think you would have this exit door here, which I don't know. I mean, this for such a grand entrance would probably be a very important room. This side potentially, you know, could be the kitchen or something, you know. Again, there's no judging, there's actually no big windows in here. But anyway, right, so we're going to take this and we're going to add a modifier. Looks good. Now, I don't want to make the... No, that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine as a doorway. Maybe a little bit too big. Yeah. No, it's probably a little bit too shallow now. Yeah, I reckon about there. Okay, that looks really good. I like that. I just love how it's so easy to do this stuff now in Blender. Now the only thing that I may, well actually I think this could be where this went really wrong, but I don't really want all of those. It's unnecessary to have that many. Right, there we go. That's fine. Kind of debating how I'm gonna do this. If I what I'm thinking is I need to have some kind of marker as to yeah, so roughly that's roughly it. And I just want to know where the wall boundary is on here. I select that and that. Right, okay. Okay, yeah. It gives me a good idea. How... Okay. If I was to add... Yeah. Could do it that way. I'm gonna have to move that, aren't I? So if I move that to about there, right, and then move that to no. To about there. Editing one. Okay. So that's given me that from both of those. If I save about there. Okay, so I think that's okay. So if I select that and that, which should be exactly the right size, if we bridge faces, fantastic, brilliant. It just always makes me smile when trying to do this years ago. It was just so, you'd have to delete the faces and then go in and fill in all the, the vertices in between each one, blah blah blah, and then fill in each of the faces. I mean, it was just such a laborious process. Now you can just select two faces and boom, you've got this. Amazing. So what I want to do now is create two pillars. One here and one here. And they're actually arched. There's actually an archway there, so should. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add some more. Delete faces. I can sort this geometry out. No, don't need that. I just need that. Do I bring that down lower? Is the thing. I think I will, because it would. I think it would look really nice with an archway in there. Okay. Okay, and that will look the same on both sides, which would be rather good. Now I know I've screwed up the geometry here, but it doesn't really matter because, yeah, that looks really good actually. I like that. Am I going to be bothered about that bit of geometry there? Probably not. It's not going to make any difference. No one's going to see it. But it would look really, really nice if there was a couple of pillars here. So I want to create an archway here. And then the pillars. So is this measuring up correctly? Yes, it is. Right, okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Right, so... how big do I want these to be? I reckon that big. Okay. So there's going to be one pillar here. There is too far over, I think. I reckon about there for the pillars, which will look, I think, really good. Okay. You gotta love loop tools. I love loop tools. Okay, let's pillar. Now, I always think it looks nice when the pillars are kind of tapered slightly. They're nearly always wider, very slightly wider at the bottom than they are at the top. So, no. No. Oh, come on. You should be... Why were you not... Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing? Okay. Okay. I know I did this before. Scale. Want to go down? Yeah, let's go down to about 7.1. Scale. 7.1. It's gonna look alright. It's gonna look alright. Scale 7.1. Buildings are never exactly... I mean, you know, this is the thing. I think I've seen too many buildings that people do and they look too perfect, and that's a lot of the time the problem I find with buildings in Second Life, especially when people make things with Prim. It needs to be uneven. There isn't a building that is perfect. You know, even brand new buildings are not perfect. You know, they're going to be uneven. They won't look old, obviously. This particular building is going to be quite old. I mean, it's an old style, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern style. So I'm just going to go straight up in there. There we go. Simple, straightforward. Oh, that looks good. I like it. I like it. Wow. Okay. Okay, that's now just added a whole new dimension to this building. I like it. Okay, now I want to add a nice arch here to give it that kind of... It just breaks everything up. So Z. Scale by... Okay, so we're going to bring that through here. I want it kind of nice. Actually, if I look at the reference image, it's kind of yeah, there we go. That looks pretty neat. That looks pretty neat. Do I need to go up to about there? Does it need to be bigger? No, it hasn't actually got that. Or does it need to be like that? Probably. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll look good. That will look good. Okay, right. So we add the favorite. Yeah. Okay. Nope. That looks nice, I must admit. So this is a walkway. This is a walkway between the two buildings. Kind of, yeah. I think that looks fine. That looks fine. I like it. I really like it. Okay. We have a nice bit of kind of architecture that just basically goes through the building. It looks good. And it's in proportion as well to all of the rest of this. So people would walk, for Second Life, people would walk in here. Very important people would walk through here. I envisage this being I'm thinking that this will be an amazing kind of reception room of some sort, you know, grand hall with statues and, you know, a really nice kind of ornate staircase of some sort that would be in this part of the building. So, but this wouldn't be your everyday entrance. This is the everyday entrance. Yeah, and I'm already thinking that this part of the building would be, you know, potentially sort of a cellar stroke kitchen, you know, somewhere that would be cold, obviously, if it's Middle Eastern Mediterranean style, you know, Gothic-y type building. They didn't have fridges back then, so they would have put their produce and meat and vegetables and things would have gone, you know, in the cellar of a building, because it would have been the coolest area. And then I think maybe a kitchen would be here, sort of utility room type thing, and then you would have like you know, I'm kind of thinking that this would be a sort of what did I just call it? Reception room of some sort. And then you would have, you know, living space and bedrooms and stuff like at the top. So looking at my reference image, see, I wouldn't. They've got kind of got another window here, and I don't think if this is a room, a very large kind of open space here, you wouldn't really have another window here, would you? Anyway, I'm going to finish off this part of the building. I need to make a doorway. Obviously, this will be a doorway here. But this, at the moment, this is kind of just rough. Just add a bit more detail in there, really. make it look good. Now they've got, at various points around this building, on this side and also here, they've kind of got what I would call, I don't think they're windows, they're like portholes of some sort. You know, they're not big enough for you to, it's almost like airflow. And I'm thinking that it would be, I'm going to use this. Okay, I'm going to do a mirror modifier. I want it to be Z. Let's apply that. That looks fine to me. Okay, so Shift D. Yep, rotate 90. Whoa. Rotate 90. Y. There we go. That's fine. So terrible, but I only want the shape, so I don't really care that the ooh, no, but I should care. Because what's going to happen is that's going to be awful, isn't it? That's fine. Oh dear, have I really screwed this up or what? Okay, let's just go back a minute. Why is that so bad? Okay. Right. Okay. That would be the reason then, wouldn't it? Ooh. Why are you being a pain? Okay. Wow. Um. So that's it. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right, so delete faces. Okay. How come I can't select that? Why is this being so weird? You saying that I can't select that? See, sometimes Blender does weird things. Interesting. So if I delete edges, why are you being weird? Okay, weird. Ooh, dear. Wow. Wow, that's really weird. Why are you being weird? Oh, alright, okay. Yep, sometimes. Now will you let me delete these? Weird. Wow, weird. Weird. Definitely weird. Weird stuff is happening. Yeah, you know, I cut a hole in a building and created pillars and all of that, and that was easier than just creating a shape. It's just very odd. Okay, right, okay. So these little portals, these little portal holes seem to be they're certainly not that big, but anyway, we'll sort that out in a minute. There seems to be one right here, kind of right in the middle scale, and it isn't that big in comparison, probably only about that big. We want it to go all the way through. Yeah, I would say about there. Maybe a little bit higher. Okay, right, so we want a cut going through there. Okay, why are you being weird? Why? Why? Okay. What's so obscure with this mesh? Nothing. Oh, it's that middle bit again, isn't it? Hmm. That's why it's got like really weird. Okay. See, this is what takes the time, you know? This is always what takes up the time. Delete edges. Okay, I think now we've got a clean, relatively clean. Oh my goodness. Right, okay. Okay, so can I not just dissolve edges? Dissolve edges. Wow, so that's holding the whole structure together for some reason. Okay, that's fine. Let's try it now. Wow. Okay, that's I don't know. Let's just call it a day on that one. I don't know quite what's going on there. Very odd. That is so neat. That looks really, really very, very nice. I like it. I like this. It does look very good. Okay, let's work on this building a little bit. Okay, so there is a window here. That goes in something like this. And oh no. Okay, and then over the top of here. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I haven't saved this for a while. It's unlike me, but I'm kind of so wrapped up in this that I always save different versions so that at least I can go back and there does seem to be another something very similar here, but a lot simpler. There's no lintel kind of ledge at the top here. It's just like this. It's just open. This is very nearly finished, actually. The only thing I need to do is create these little portholes, which are kind of dotted in and around. There's kind of another opening right at the back here. Like this. There we go. That's fine. Okay. As I say, this is nearly finished. I need to make the portal. The portal thing. Okay. Okay. I think this is the mistake I made before when I tried to create the portal shape. So if we do... Whoa. What? Mirror. We want on Z. Make sure that this is all going to be okay. Right, so if we apply that, Right, this should be a lot cleaner. Okay. 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 Shift D, doink. Rotate Y 90. I want to add another boolean to this. Intersect. No, union, correct. Why is it giving me this weird stuff? What is this weird stuff? I don't know. I don't know what this weird stuff is. Okay. Just apply it. Delete. I don't know why we've got the odd weird thing here. Delete. Okay, so now I think we've got a clean, yes we do. We now have a clean object. Perfect. Don't know, yeah, okay, whatever. Whatever. Okay, I should now have something that I can now use. Perfect. I want that to go all the way through there. Okay. Please work. Just work. Okay. Who knows? Maybe we're talking... maybe we're talking the faces around the wrong way. No, we're not. We're not talking faces around the wrong way. This is where you waste time. You waste time on things like this, which shouldn't really be wasting time on. So what we've got here is kind of an oddity, in as much as that and that are very odd. Okay. So now that doesn't seem to have a face. Come on. Wow. Oh. Right, okay. I see what's happening. I see what's happening. Oh my god, okay. Okay, I see what's happening. Okay, we're gonna delete you. We're just gonna go back to... I think now this is actually really quite a good point for me to stop, because this is where I was again, you know, you've got to draw the line somewhere when things start doing oddities. And it's best really to just stop doing what you're doing and come back to it another time. And then hopefully you see it with a fresh set of eyes, like I did this, you know, and various other bits and pieces where... But anyway, what I thought I would do... Obviously save this. Let's go into Second Life and I'll show you what it looks like in Second Life, because I think it looks really good. I think it will make a really good, very unusual place to live. You know, a building that you could have on not actually an awful lot of land, but have like a really interesting place to live. Right, okay, so I'm just going to load up Second Life. It's very slow today. Probably because it's a holiday and there's just, you know, a lot of people in world. Okay. Ooh. I might go there then. So this is the building that was in here before. So I'm going to get rid of this because we're not going to need that anymore. And here's the, you know, the kind of the Gothic churchy style building, which I just got so fed up of figuring out why the walls, the outside wall texture wouldn't load. So I just took all the textures off, played around with this, and I just really like how this looks. I want to get on and finish this, but I'm interested in this. Wow. So let's just teleport to here and go and have a look at what they've got on secret sale. I like secret sales. Let's see what they've got. Oh, okay, probably nothing actually that I'm interested in. But this is, I love this place. You know, when you see how much effort people have put into building these kind of shopping places, you know, I mean, the level of detail. I know they don't obviously build everything in here, and I doubt whether they have built any. No, they haven't built any of this. So they just get other items and such like from. Now, if I had an, I would get that. I like that fern lamp. Very nice. Very interesting. Dream glass music box. Okay. Is this what they are? Wow, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Music box. I guess it plays something. Can't hear anything. It doesn't have sound in this sim. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go to this one, Sandbox, and we'll upload and res this. It's more like it. I'm getting 60 frames a second now. Okay, so I need to take this file, save file, export collada. Let's call it that. That's fine. Selection only, collada. Right, so build, upload, mesh, parcel. That's today's date, that's correct. Okay, right, so it all looks good. Normals around the right way. We use the LOD from above. Physics, I just give this because like I'm not that. I just gave it a cube, that's fine. Calculate. What did I actually call this? Okay, so I just called it tool parcel O2D. Right, so we're going to calculate. See, it's 286 land impact, but it's only costing 16 Linden dollars to upload, which is like nothing really. And we're not going to be able to do anything with this model. It's just literally to see how it looks. So let's just upload it. I just move everything around. I like to keep my folders and things. I'll actually, while we're in here, I'll show you the fence as well. Okay, so let's just load this. Like, there we go. So we've got normals here which are screwed up, but that's fine. I'm more interested in seeing how this looks. Yeah, that looks really good actually. I like the way that so the normals for that are screwed up. But we're just literally just reviewing what this looks like. And I know the shading on this is all wrong because I don't know whether you can see it. The actual, see how the door is sticking out compared to the so the mesh is not right. I need to correct that before I start doing any texturing or UVs or anything. So yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. It's gonna look good. It's gonna look good. I've always liked doing big buildings, big builds in Second Life, you know? Right, so this is the fence that I was talking about where the land impact I got down to. So this is the last one that I loaded. The fence looks really, really good. The level of detail, I mean, you know, again, this is not supposed to be photorealistic, but I'm happy with how, and you know, this is geometry, this is mesh geometry. The level of detail of that is actually really, really good. And if we look at the land impact, is 1. Yeah. And we turn it into prim, it's still 1. Still, that is exactly what you try to do. This is the holy grail of building mesh. So I can't go through it because obviously it's got physics, which is what you really want. You can see you switch the physics on and off. That's what the physics looks like for this fence. So now that I've got this, and I understand a lot more on how people are uploading very detailed items and mesh into Second Life with only 1 land impact or very low land impact. And the LOD on this is actually quite high too, because I can zoom out quite a way before that starts to break up. I mean, there we go, now it's broken up. So yeah, around about there. I don't know how far away, but you know, it's impressive. But this building, I'm actually looking forward to making it a livable building in Second Life. I'm impressed with that. I'm really impressed. It's probably one of the very few times that, I mean, I like all the stuff that I do, but you know, it's like anything that you do when you design it yourself. You can tend to be so highly critical of your own work, and you know, other people will look at it and go, "Oh no, it's amazing, it's amazing," and I'll look at it and go, "Nah," you know. But this particular one, yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. It appeals to me. When I saw the artwork, reference artwork, I thought, you know, I can see that being something that somebody would live in. Okay. I'm going to call it a day there. So once again, Happy New Year to everyone who watches this video, if you get this far and you haven't fallen asleep yet. And I look forward to doing... I want to do more regular videos streaming. Even you know, compared to kind of 2 years ago, the streaming on Twitch has become a bit easier. OBS is now working correctly. The quality is a lot better. It's a lot more user friendly, whereas, you know, 2 to 3 years ago, OBS was very clunky. It didn't really work properly. You know, it was very hit and miss what you could do. And now, you know, I've got no DMCA strikes of any sort on Twitch. Doesn't happen anywhere else, only on Twitch. I don't excuse me, I don't really understand why Twitch is so pro DMCA all the time. But they do seem to be. So anyway, I upload all of my Twitch videos to my YouTube channel, and I don't get any strikes on there. So, you know, if you want to listen to the music, again, if you like this kind of thing, then it'll be on my YouTube channel. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again and chat with you again real soon.